What's up, friends? This is Manni and welcome to Armor Attack, the next-gen robot shooter that will ultimately replace war robots for good. Why? Because not only does it look and play amazing, but also the core team of Keck Entertainment making Armor Attack were originally part of the team that published War Robots back in 2014 when it was in fact a really great game. So they know what they're doing. So let's take a dive or a look into the glass orb that shows us the future of mobile mech combat, my friends. So before we see all three factions in combat, make sure to check down in the video description pinned comment my link to download and play the game for free on Android, iOS and PC. Important for you also to know is the game is still in development and planned for release at the end of this year. That's when things go crazy. See, first faction Bastion here, second is Hermit, and then we have Imperial. Bastion having some kind of Earth-like technologies with tanks but also robots, and then we have Hermit being aliens using a lot of toxic and poison weapons and armor on them, and then we have the Imperial making some super high technology faction using stealth, plasma weapons and energy shields and stuff like that, right? And all these factions play completely different. And the core principle of the game is really class and ability-centered gameplay, where the ability of a robot or a character is not just a little trick, it's its entire playstyle. That's how you use the robot, and you're working towards that special ability to use it in the best possible circumstance. In that case here, we're rocking a massively tanky alien character with some kind of shotgun weapons that deal tremendous damage in short range, but of course, as a short-range brawler, you usually get close to deal your damage, and that also exposes you to more enemy fire and more risk, right? And so eventually I got destroyed, and now we're playing the Acrid character from the Hermit faction, able to deal a lot of damage from range. As you can see, it's quite the contrary actually, and still relatively tanky, right? It doesn't get destroyed immediately, but as you can see here, the energy shield from the Imperial robot prevented the acid from going through, so I wasn't really able to deal the full damage there. I would first have to drop the shield, and so every character has its own pros and cons, and also has certain things that can deal with it better than others, right? Even another alien right here is still really susceptible to that high-end acid damage bomb that I'm sending over. And also remember that there are bosses in this game. These games have bosses, or the maps rather, that you can face with your team and get bonus points for dealing with them, right? And the cool thing about the bosses are, you can even have a massive combat through the bonuses provided by dealing damage or killing the boss. So if the enemy team is in the lead, as they are right now, you see that they have 4 out of 5 of the beacons, but by dealing with the boss right there and doing the highest amount of damage to it, we can kind of deactivate the beacon or control point occupation from the enemy team and turn the entire map upside down and have a massive comeback, right? And that's so interesting, the fact that there's a massive boss that has a tremendous amount of health, also dealing tons of damage to you and your teammates, or any teammates for that matter, even the enemy team. Anybody coming here is getting attacked by the boss. He has no faction and no side. But yeah, it's a really thing. You see, the boss was defeated by my team, and we just reverted all of the beacon progress on the map. Speaking of maps, they are interactive. Certain elements of the map can completely change over the course of a match. For example, a building falling apart, and you can now use that terrain as your advantage. Or there are elevators that you can use to elevate your position and have a better angle on the enemy. And here I was running an area effect spell or ability that will deal continuous damage to every enemy around me, and really powerful and dangerous to those getting close. Unfortunately, it's over now that I need it the most, and I have to reload. But I'm using the enemy robot as a shield from the other guy that is behind him, so I'm able to take only half the amount of damage they would do if I wasn't keeping him constantly in the line of fire, right? And the enemy is recapturing the base right now, but we are still doing a decent job at taking down the enemy robots, because also that way you can win. There's control points that you can capture, or you simply destroy all enemy robots, and therefore, boom, victory, okay? So pretty awesome. At the end of the match also, you're getting a whole lot of rewards, silver and payouts, if you think about currencies now and what they previously meant in other games, Armor Attack is not pay to win. The primary method with which Armor Attack monetizes itself is via the so-called Armor Prime. It's some kind of subscription model where you pay a couple of dollars per month, and in return you have basically unlocked everything for your level. And you can just play with everything you want. Alternatively, you could also not take that subscription model and simply use all your in-game currencies you've earned to unlock everything as well. You don't have to spend in the game if you don't want to, and you can still play most of what the game has to offer very easily. But with that Armor Prime method, it reminds me a little bit about an MMO game where you just have your active subscription, and in return you basically get the entire game to play around with and experiment and do whatever you want, right? And that is so much better for us players, because think about it, it is a way of financing themselves that does not require for them to bring out new meta content that's always better than the previous, to then nerf your previous investments and so on. It doesn't need any of that because it actually lives from being accessible to everyone for a tiny fee, or even without any, if you just use the in-game resources and unlock what you need and want. So I'm really looking forward to this. I believe this could be the most appealing way to make free-to-play games on the mobile platforms, right? And also on PC for that matter, because it's also available. And did I mention that it's cross-platform? So you can play the same account on PC and then keep playing on your phone later when you go somewhere and progress further on with the same account. Play against or with the same people and so on. So pretty amazing also in that regard. And just look at the graphics, man. Did you notice the graphics? It looks fantastic, seriously. And I appreciate that. One more thing that I'm not sure if I should say this, but I know that the game is very successful in funding itself too. So we don't have to be afraid of a similar fate happening to it that happened, unfortunately, to Battle of Titans, where the funding stopped and the game would cease to be developed. There's nothing like that going to happen here with Armor Attack. And it's also pretty far already. There are plenty of maps, plenty of robots and weapons. And in a moment, I also show you a little bit of a variety in how to upgrade the weapons and stuff. Whoops, I'm sitting in the fire. That's probably not good, especially for the aliens. They look like they would be very, susceptible to fire attacks like that. But maybe it had been like friendly fire because I didn't take damage. Anyways, we're here on the Paladin robot with the medium pulsar weapon that I can upgrade using these blue upgrading tokens. And then there are various different other medium weapons as well that I can upgrade. You can also upgrade the robot itself, or the character as they call it, and make a choice. Go into offense or defense, right? And depending what way you choose, you have different abilities to unlock going forward. So we're upgrading a couple of things, and now we're in the Imperial faction. And those guys, like I said, are high technology robots with shields and stealth and really cool sounding plasma weapons. I like that. I feel like those are my favorite factions for the moment, because I just love the sound and the style of this high-tech stuff. And it feels good to have this kind of damage output from range, you know. Reload, of course, there is a thing. In the bottom right, you see the weapons being in reload. Some weapons, I think, also overheat, if I'm not mistaken. There are also rocket launchers, auto-homing missiles that fire for a long range. And ultimate abilities are really strong, such as the one that I'm standing on right now. That it burns the ground underneath me and deals a ton of damage, even to all enemies in that area. So a well-placed ultimate or super, or like the main ability. It's not really like a MOBA game where there's like an ultimate, but a main ability that is well placed can make the difference in a match. It can literally lose or win you a match like that. Here we have an enemy coming at us. Who is invisible. You see, I'm shooting in its general direction and I'm actually hitting him, but he was invisible for a sec because he's also from the same faction. And unfortunately, I may have my shield right now, but I am really low on health, so once that shield goes down, I'm going to go down with it, and boop, here we go. Okay. But I occupied some enemies. We are in control of most of the control points, and let's go with the Icarus robot, okay? It's the one that can, like, jump upwards like this. I don't quite understand the jump because it doesn't make you faster, it just allows you to hop up. So it is a way to traverse terrain more effectively, get over obstacles instead of having to go around them, getting a good position on the enemy, maybe even using cover like this to interrupt enemy firing patterns, right? Dodge fire. But it's not a way to get through the map faster, as you can see here. I can just periodically jump. But there are robots or characters that can jump forward. The aliens have a character that can jump forward and leap very far and very fast, very often too. Here I'm capturing a control point and from there also shooting at the enemy with my, I'm just gonna call them plasma weapons because that's what they sound like to me and look like. I'm sure they are some kind of plasma-like effect. But there are different damage types. Explosive, kinetic, like energy-based, acid or toxic, weapons. And there are, of course, different defense systems as well. Also, I will show you in a minute the other faction that has a robot that can place a turret on the ground that will autonomously fire at the enemy. Pretty cool too. But first, let's take on Sentinel Prime again. That big freaking boss robot that you see the red stuff on the ground. If you sit there, you'll take a ridiculous amount of damage. So do not stay in those red areas. It is well telegraphed. You should really know where not to be. Also, that big freaking laser, you don't want to get hit by that, let me tell you that much. But you can hide behind cover and not get hit, right? You can hide behind a box or something and avoid getting shot in that moment. And even from far away with this robot, I can fight him pretty well. He doesn't move, so he is not going to rush me suddenly. But his homing rockets can hit you around, pretty much even around cover, some of them. So you gotta be still a little careful. You can't rely to be perfectly safe about anything here. Oops, here comes another one of those big rockets. Whoop, boom. I like the rockets, big ones. Okay, we're slowly getting there. And the more damage we do with our team against the boss, the more we come out on top. You see my shield down there is depleting now due to the fire from him. But I'm not alone. We have my teammate here with us. I'm not sure where the enemies are at this point. We don't know. Oh, there's one enemy behind the boss. You see him on the minimap in the top left. Bold Wu, his name is, and he's driving towards my teammate, attacking him. They may be fighting each other, although my teammate still seems to be attacking the boss. Took a couple of rockets from the boss. Thankfully, my shield was able to protect me still. Let's finish off that guy. And that should hopefully be the final clip to take care of that. Oh no. I'm jumping away from the explosion here, but I got hit. You saw I lost my entire shielding against that bomb. But the boss was defeated by my team, so we basically eliminated all beacon control for the enemy team, while at the same time keeping the ones we control. So big bonus here. And after that, shouldn't take much long for us to win this. Yeah, one thing that would be cool if the boss would drop something. Just think about it, right? If he would drop some extra resources or so that you could collect, just as an idea maybe for the game team to think about. So at the end we see the damage, the captures, kills and everything, but let's have a look at the hoplite tank and the Spitfire. Spitfire doing literally what the name suggests, spitting fire on the ground. And here character Sentry putting a sentry turret on the ground. Super awesome. So Bastion faction, here we go, okay? Driving up with a tank. Also, this one controls completely different because it drives always forward in the direction that you're facing with your chassis, not the direction you're looking at with your turret, right? So you can be completely decoupled from where you drive and where you look and shoot. So again, completely different playstyle on the Bastion tanks compared to some of the other races. And the Bastion can launch a massive shield around himself, a big shield bubble that protects not just yourself, but any ally we're caught within as well. By the way, the game team, aka Keck Entertainment, is also hosting a lot of surveys for their players to really get what the community wants to see next on each of the factions and robots, right? So they're working way more close together with the community here on making this game, which I think is also part of the future success of the game, if I think about it. Because one of the major problems we see in other games is that they often just do what's best for you know, filling their pockets, but not really what the community needs or wants. For example, unnecessary currencies and paywalling content and so on, right? Making things way overpowered and so on. And like I said, that is something we may not even have to worry about at all here in Armor Attack, of content breaking the game. Although, that weapon seems to be a little more powerful than mine, man. Okay, that was a pretty fast death that I just suffered. I did not expect that. But again, game is in development. Certain things sometimes could come out as being too powerful, but are certainly going to be addressed and fixed, and then balanced better than we know it from other games, right? You see my turret here to the left, my sentry, autonomously firing at the enemies over there, doing a decent amount of damage too. And I'm not sure if enemies can even target it, because the enemy have so far never been able to shoot it down. So yeah, ladies and gents, please make sure to use my links down below to download and play the game for free for your platform, because I know you guys as my followers. I know this game is going to be right up your alley, and you're going to want to try that, because this is something to look forward to for everyone who enjoyed War Robots or even Mech Arena or any of the robot shooters that we know so far. And at the end of the year, it's not that far away anymore. It's going to be released from the looks of it, and it's going to look good. So definitely going to want to play it. I will keep playing it, and also keep you a little up to date on that. So yeah, let's do that together, ladies and gents, and make sure to try it out for yourselves. So I'm capturing the beacon here, running with the sentry robot, and I just placed the sentry on the front, in front of me. You see it on the little hill in front of me? There's that big sentry turret. Now any enemy coming in is gonna be automatically targeted and shot by that turret, as you can see right here. And you're seeing that the turret is really doing a decent amount of damage. Oh wait, he did destroy the turret. Wow, I've never seen that happen before. I wasn't sure if this can be destroyed, but apparently it can. But the next one was already ready, and it destroyed the enemy robot. Pretty sweet. And now we're firing from really far away at the guy over there. Reloading the weapons, placing the next sentry here, and then getting behind the corner so that the sentry can help me take him down in the meantime, right? Oh boy. Oh man, I'm down to 2,500 HP. I'm healing up a little, but thankfully it seems like he was reloading as well in the meantime. I'm not sure why I'm healing, by the way. I'm really healing pretty well. That's cool. But there is a maximum amount of health that I'm able to heal and restore. So I will not be able to restore my health to full durability here. We have 2 control points. I think I just captured the center one. And my turret, you see the hit indicators. I'm getting hit markers. That means my turret is hitting the enemy. Or somewhere. But now it stopped. Maybe somebody destroyed the turret, which is okay, because I can place another one right there. And I'm doing it right now. See, I placed it right on the beacon, and it's attacking the guy right next to him. Sentry is probably my favorite robot from the Bastion faction. I just love that turret Sentry playstyle. And here's a Spitfire robot that can place that big fireball on the ground that will deal area damage to enemies. And I think I even killed the guy behind the building here. But there's one more. Oh no, now I got him destroyed. Xeno something the name was. And we have a victory. Sweet! Got some sweet Monster Division Award, silver, and of course my scoreboard to enjoy here with almost 1 million damage I've done. And by the way, I don't have the things upgraded to a very, very high level. I was basically at the same level as my enemies were, I felt able to compete really well with it, right? So, pretty awesome here. And this here, what you see, is actually in-game graphics. So tell me how awesome that is, okay? Please let me know down in the comment section below what you think about Armor Attack. I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments and how the game appears to you, what your impressions are. And then we're probably gonna see more about this in the future. So stay tuned. Manni signing off, and bye-bye, my friends. Have a good one.